All right, let's do this again. So, this is session 2, take 2. Earlier today, I was trying to do a presentation and, well, the slides weren't advancing as the way I thought they were. So, we're going to try this again. And we're going to do this a second time, this time without the LinkedIn Live. But for those who did attend earlier, Where's Your Next actually had technical difficulties, which was kind of fun. But the slides are now where they need to be, and we should have everything working the way that we want them to. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and try this again. So this is take 2, RecruitDC live vlogcast recap of my presentation I did there. Advanced sourcing hacks to be a super sleuth in 2023. So with that said, without further ado, let's get started. So I'm going to share my screen this time, and I'm going to share it from a different angle. And we're going to see if this works, because that's the way I want it to work this time. So this should do the trick this time, because I have another way that I'm doing this. And so I think this will work better. So let's try this, and then we'll do this off of the StreamYard, because that way I think things will work. Okay, so that's showing. We're going to go to full screen now, and then we're going to test the link this time. Make sure it's embedded. Perfect. All right, so everything's looking good there. And we're going to go off this screen here, because I think this will show you what I want it to show. So sourcing hacks to be a super sleuth in 2024, take 2. Here we go. We are advancing slides. So I talked about the second slide was introducing people to the wonderful land of Utah and how beautiful it is here with everything that we have, our national parks. I was talking about Bryce Canyon, Zion's National Park, and our Arches Park. So welcome to the, this is where I reside, and this is where I am from. It's an amazing place to live, and I love it here, and I'm grateful to be here. So let's go to slide 2. I hail from Silicon Valley originally. I shared my story on the Elite Recruiter podcast via Ben Mina. And as I shared in that podcast, my journey has been very unique. I've grown a lot, and I was sharing some of the tips and tricks that, so a little bit of an introduction about who I was and where I came from. I would encourage you to go listen to the Elite Recruiter podcast via Ben Mina. I originally hail again from Silicon Valley, graduated from San Jose State, been in the industry in recruiting and sourcing since really 15 years is about what it's been, and HR for about 20. So pretty amazing journey. It's been a good experience. So let me continue on. I don't want to belabor that point, but I encourage you to go listen to Ben's introduction. It was a really good primer for this presentation. So the agenda for today, I'm going to be talking about Boolean commands and operator mechanics, some sourcing string ideas, finding free resumes, diversity sourcing ideas, how to use a sourcing matrix, contact finding tools, ChatGPT for sourcing, and some other things. If there are live comments here, I will try to answer questions towards the end. Should take about 45 minutes to get through these slides. So if you're here and you're watching, definitely feel free to ask questions. It should come up on my feed. Most of the time it does. StreamYard's a little interesting about getting live comments. Sometimes it just makes it interesting. So let's continue on. All right. So earlier I was talking about, why is sourcing critical for your success? So there's a few little cartoons here. This is just for fun. I was talking about, this funny one at the top, Dilbert. We're almost out of kitty litter. He tells the intern, the evil HR director, gather all the resumes and put them in the shredder. Shouldn't we be matching these with our openings? That's what we're doing. So many times I think a lot of places operate like sourcing is some kind of, like a temporary thing. That's not really a long-term strategy. And so we need to change that mindset in order to be the most effective that we can be. So this next one, I'm an aggressive recruiter looking for passive job seekers. Passive job seekers are hidden gems for recruiters, and you're the most passive I've ever seen. Stop making me love you. So it's pretty funny. I mean, we need to treat our candidates with respect. Remember that the folks that you find and the data that you find regarding these candidates, they are human beings and they deserve to be treated as such. So then there's Catbert, the evil director of HR, posts a job openings. He puts the requirements. Candidate must have an IQ of 300, 2 centuries of Unix experience, and a track record of winning Nobel Prizes. 90% of my job is convincing people they don't deserve theirs. So sometimes what I think we wind up happening is we need to clarify with the manager and get them to think about the requirements that they have. So one of the things we're going to talk about today as well is helping managers to drill down so that you can do a better job of getting to the goal of sourcing in an effective way. So I wanted to give Untapped.io a call out. They came out with a really nice, the process of sourcing talent. You create a plan, you define the ideal candidates, you choose multiple sourcing channels. So a lot of folks just use one sourcing channel. Usually they'll use just LinkedIn, right? And it's not as effective as it could be, so it makes it more interesting. So the next thing is, use the low-hanging fruit. Encourage employee referrals, establish relationships with past applicants. The way to look at your whole sourcing strategy is there's the outbound reach outs, the inbound resumes that might have past candidates who could be a fit, and then you've got folks that you're keeping relationships with. So treat your whole sourcing strategy as a holistic point of view that focuses you on the big picture. So with that said, let's keep going. Next slide. I will advance here. So I want to talk about sourcing as open source intelligence. There's something called the OSINT framework. And here's just this is a great website. OSINT stands for Open Source Intelligence, which basically means free tools that are online to help identify contact information for candidates. And as you go forward and think of how you're looking at your candidates and how you're doing your sourcing, many times you can find, multi-channel focus. And this is why I like this website. It kind of goes through the various options that are out there for the OSINT framework, and it's really good from that perspective. So it's very helpful. So this website has been created as a free resource with public information to help people drill down to found people and conduct research. So it's a really good resource from that perspective. That's why I'm starting with it. Okay, so let's get into Boolean operators and commands. So these are important. I think that as you look at these are just your basic commands. So you've got quotations, which works in both Bing and Google. And I would only use this in Bing because Google will only allow you to search for 32 words or 32 words at once, I believe is the max. So you want to save space. So in a sense, and all you have to do is you could put it between two terms with a space, and that is the same as an and. So just a space between the two terms makes it work. Minus is taking out, it says don't find this term, take it out of the search results and limit it. Or is the same as the pipe command, and it accomplishes the same thing, but it helps save space. So the next one there is parenthesis. It groups like terms together with the or pipe command. In URL, once you put something after it, it'll find that phrase within the URL. So for example, resume would return keywords in a website URL with resume and the link. File type will return files with the extension type. You could do .doc, .xls, and so on. And that would help you find what you're looking for from that perspective. So site, facebook.com would return specific results from the Facebook website or any website following site. In title, resume would return keyword resume in the title of the website. Near or around will similar effect, but around indicates number of words between search terms. So you could put near between, so between two words, and it would say find this word near this word, or around so many words within a parameter of the other word. So, say it was 7 or 8 words, you put that in the parenthesis for the around, and that achieves the same technical outcome as near. Link will pull in pages linking to a specific domain. Could be useful for candidates linking a resume or blog to a specific company. And then the wildcard, the star, will or asterisk, I should say, will complete variations of a word. For example, calm could mean come, coming, or something else, combination. So just to give some examples there. All right, next slide here. I am talking about the operators and commands. It's going to give you some more feedback on what other commands there are. And there's other useful commands, but I gave you the basics. These are the basic ones over here. Sorry, this one. And those would be the main ones that you're going to see me use for purposes of this presentation. But this is the main starter point. Next, Boolean operators and commands you can use. It just lists from these various websites, various search terms, various ways to search. It also helps with keyword identification. So this is all a good list to drill down and help you get better at various things. There's also some tools for keyword identification, which is helpful. And then there's ChatGPT, which can be used for keyword identification too. And then Thesaurus, of course, will help you find synonyms, which are similar words. So it's good to help you with what you're working on when you're working on it. So next one, this is the sourcing matrix. And what I use the sourcing matrix to do is it actually helps organize. It's a simple spreadsheet for organizing sourcing information. It helps with your common searches. You can set it up via columns. And then this is just job title or keywords used, common locations, professional association acronyms, common certifications, zip codes, phone number extension, or competitor targeting. And that's going to give you a general idea of how to put, just organize information. A lot of times what you'll find in organizations is they don't store their strings. So this is a great way to do just that. Now I'm going to keep going. As you look at the recruiting funnel, this is giving you an idea of what this looks like. This comes to us from Altamira, but I liked what they put together. So I would say that the sourcing function goes throughout the recruiting process. So there's, generally it's top of funnel activity that affects most, but just keep in mind that each level of sourcing or sourcing data can affect every outcome or every piece of the recruiting funnel. So just something really cool. I like how they break this out, and I like the infographic. I thought it was a pretty good way of showing how the sourcing recruiting funnel works, and how recruiting and sourcing are tied together. All right, so the importance of a hiring manager strategy meeting. This can't be overstated. So basically, many times what will wind up happening is a hiring manager will have a problem. It's the most important thing I can say is whether you're in the sourcing side, which is, the data finding, lead generation side, or if you're on the other side, which is the actually pre-qualifying, getting the candidate interested. Both sides, sourcers and recruiters are starting to blur. So you might have a senior sourcer who might be doing activities that a recruiter would have traditionally done, or vice versa. So that's very important to think about. But the foundation for everything starts in the HM strategy meeting. So this will affect the entire recruiting process from beginning to end. And an HM strategy meeting that is done as a talent advisor approach versus an order taker will accomplish more than a regular just order taker would. So what this means is, let me give you some ideas on what this looks like. So watch what this should look like. So I think many times what winds up happening is the HM strategy intake meeting is a strategic foundation. And the recruiter or sourcer needs to prepare what questions to ask the hiring manager after reviewing the job description, I recommend a standardized intake HM strategy meeting form. Prepare some initial talent map information based on search criteria or the job description. Use tools like seekout.io, Hire Easy, LinkedIn Recruiter, potential competitors, Talent Neuron to determine what the available talent looks like for the criteria that's outlined in the job description. Now, what this accomplishes is you come to this meeting with several profiles for the hiring manager to review. And then you say, am I on the right track? And then you can tell the manager, based on the criteria set forth in the job description, you have X, Y, or Z happening. So in other words, this is the amount of available talent. This is what looks like to be the folks that would be available to talk to us about this role based on the criteria that you have generated. So from that standpoint, if you're not doing that effectively, then you're going to lose actually a lot of time and your efficiency goes down. So this is why the intake meeting becomes even more important about asking key questions throughout the process. Now, not just at the HM strategy meeting, you should be having what I call a recalibration step at every phase of the funnel. So as the search advances, as the recruitment takes place, you're starting to go forward and work through various steps that need to be taken to make it even better. So come prepared, talk about the job description, expect changes. So it's going to change. Set the KPIs early and the deliverables. What do you need to accomplish for this manager to be effective? All of this affects sourcing. So that's a key ingredient of the whole thing. Let me advance this slide here. So here's an example. When I was in DC, I chose this particular role that I found via Indeed to take a look at a very specific role that generally I would guess comes up quite a bit for our government. So I chose a cyber systems engineer. So as you look at this one, you can read the job description here. It's just an example of what it looks like. Is at a company called Peraton. And so what is the key elements of this role? So look at the qualifications: BS, a Bachelor of Science, and 5+ years experience at minimum, or a master's and 3 years. So they at least want 3 to 5 years at minimum. So keep that in mind as you're looking. And additional experience may be considered in lieu of a degree. They also wants a security clearance. They need experience with cybersecurity related enterprise-wide systems, design and integration experience with cybersecurity, both systems and networks, also important. So I summarized all this, and then I also did some additional research to figure out where these people live. So, what other components might they have? They have a top security clearance, or SCI, or TS/SCI, cyber systems with an emphasis on cybersecurity, enterprise systems, bachelor's degree with 5+ years experience, design integration experience with cybersecurity. Focus the search on Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Virginia, and Maryland. You can also see the professional associations that are really good for this particular search. And then I found some top certifications that are really connected with this search. So I use some of those in my string, but you can also use it to refine it. So if maybe you don't need all of these, but you can have maybe 1 or 2, and it'll help you find good candidates that way. If you have a lot of results, it'll help you refine. So that's a way to enrich. So as you're talking with the hiring manager, you could say, hey, do they really have to have X, Y, or Z? Do they have to have a certification, or is it a plus? It doesn't mention certifications, but these would be your top candidates because they're already certified. So that would be a way to get the best of the best candidates. That's what you want to start with when you're sourcing, obviously, right? So let's keep going. So the next step that I would do after kind of consulting with your hiring manager is to create a persona. Now, this concept is basically adapting a marketing concept to your recruiting approach. Persona is a marketing concept about a representation of your ideal candidate and what they value, what might attract them to your role. Why would the candidate want to take the job? What benefits, job characteristics, working hours might they value? Use this concept to adapt your messaging. We won't get into this much for purposes of this presentation, but just something to keep in mind. Persona also helps in long-term sourcing, pipeline, bench building, and strategy. And the president also helps craft screening questions. So these are all things that you're doing as part of the intake meeting, but you're drilling down and getting to the goal. So again, talking about the foundation, which leads to the sourcing strategy. And as you get to know your profiles, you can create a long-term pipeline for each role and get a sense of your 5 top skills or multiple skills, depending on if you're hiring across multiple vicinities. And that's going to help you get ahead of the curve, which is really what I think is the most important thing that you can do. So here's, again, we were talking about the channels that we would use. So using different channels to find different types of candidates across different avenues. GitHub was one that I thought would be a good one. You can see that I did 3 strings for that. LinkedIn is a good channel. Open web searches, Facebook, SlideShare, and then WordPress. So I was just using these as examples of where to find candidates from. But each of these can be great things. So I created 8 strings specifically for these particular reasons, and I show the results on the next page. So again, going back, set the foundation with the manager, set the criteria, ask the right questions, then you get to the right results. And that's a good way to do it. So here's my results. You can see I got quite a few different types of profiles from different avenues. And this was a really great thing to do because multiple channel, if you get stuck on one channel, then you can turn to the next channel. So it's like having multiple streams of income, same idea. You're pulling in different outcomes from doing different steps, and that helps you to be the best you can be. So with that said, let's keep going. But that was a really good, it's amazing the results that came from just looking at these specifically. I was amazed at how many I found. So, all right, so channels to consider when sourcing. There are multiple ones, but I was just showing you a few of the different ones you could possibly use. But you can use a wide variety of different ones. You could even do professional associations, potentially, blogs, professional associations, speaker lists, Facebook, LinkedIn, slideshare.net, GitHub, meetup.com, open Google web searches, Google+, in title resume, in URL resume commands, Pinterest, listservs, conferences, hashtag searches, and X, which is formerly Twitter. So each one of these use multiple channels to find multiple types of candidates, and that will help you to be the best that you can be. So sourcing ideas, use Facebook. So here's an idea. I did just a quick summary. So I didn't include all my strings on this, but looking for a back-end Java engineer with Angular and Python in Washington, D.C., Seattle, Washington, and Wichita, Kansas. String, site, facebook.com, about. I always put about in my strings when trying to source against Facebook because that helps you find more of what you're looking for. So as I got into this, I was having a little bit of fun with it and experimenting with this string. I have a simpler string, which I did for Seattle. And then I had a similar one for for Wichita, Kansas. So basically the one thing you'd modify is the location command. So in the case of DC, you can see it's a little more complex because there's more areas to search, which are all kind of in the general vicinity. In Seattle, you can just put Seattle. I could add Washington if I wanted to search the whole state. And then if I was looking at Wichita, Kansas, that might be a little more simple too. I'd put Wichita, pipe, Kansas, pipe, KS with the parenthesis around it. And that's how you would build that out. So just, again, look at the mechanics of the strings. You'll notice that they're very, this is how you can get drill down. But here's my results for this one. This one is specifically for Washington, D.C. And you can see there's a couple of folks that I found here. And that was just an example of a couple of results. There were absolutely more results than this, but if you plug in that string that I had, you'd find even more results as you scroll down. So something to keep in mind as well. Now, as I was looking in Seattle, I had more results. You can see that, there was quite a few in Washington, D.C. Seattle, I think, has more of a population of these folks just because they're a tech hub a little bit more. So, but even DC had quite a few. Now, if I did the same thing in Wichita, I found quite a few out there too. So as you can see, each string is on Facebook is bringing up some very interesting people. And I like the results that I found. So it was really a good thing. But as you play around with these, the better it gets. So now let's try GitHub. When you look at GitHub, for example, here's 3 strings for GitHub. And you can see I have the same kind of pattern. You could use these location brackets in order to pull in some good candidates from each of those areas, and that would help you drill down further. So let me keep going here. Here's the results from GitHub in DC. And then you have results of Seattle. So these are the results in Seattle I found. You've got the results from Wichita, Kansas as well. And then as you advance further, let's go to my next example here. So that's just, you can see it, you can do quite a bit with this from that standpoint. As you look at these mechanics of these strings, you get quite a few results for the same type of profile, like you would in Facebook. So again, just a different channel, just showing you how the different channels can work. And again, many of these, the one thing about GitHub too is you want to add about me or profile. You can see I added this here. The reason that's important is that it's going to help you drill down to find folks that actually have their specific profiles. Because again, keep in mind GitHub, its purpose is a place where a lot of these software engineers keep their portfolio of their projects, and that's why that's helpful, because it's a great place to find them, and a lot of them connect it with their resume, which can be a great tool for you. Let's keep going. So here's another example of a search that I did. Doesn't just work for tech. Here's some examples from the trades. So a lot of people, when they look for trades recruiters, trades candidates, they don't realize that a lot of these blue collar type of workers actually put their stuff on Facebook, and they're not always on LinkedIn. So it's a very interesting thing, but there are still quite a few people that are out there. Now, my string for Salt Lake City I think got cut off on the bottom, unfortunately, when I put this together, but I'll run you through these each so you can see this HVAC search. It's very similar to what I would have for that too, but I would put HVAC in here side by side with so that HVAC would be in the string there side by side with these. But these are my results. So site facebook.com. There's my Washington, D.C. one. It's showing that there was a few people out there. You got 3 profiles kind of showing up there that you can see. And then you've got results in Vermont, same kind of string. I use this HVAC CR, HVAC/R. And then that's how these give you these nice results in that sense. Salt Lake City pulled up these results. Just one example. There were many that were all kind of spread out, so that's why I'm including just the one. Let me keep going here. So LinkedIn ideas hashtag search. You could put in financial analyst. And I apologize, some of these slides got cut off when I put them together. I think it was just because on a bigger screen, it pulls them out. So some of my strings actually got cut off for that reason. So I was noticing that in my PDF version of these slides. So that's okay though. All right, so LinkedIn ideas, hashtag search, you just put financial analyst and it'll pull up different types of candidates. You can do the same thing and it'll pull them up on Facebook too. And you can find people that are following that hashtag or whatnot. And that's just another way, very simple way to find people. You just put a natural language job title in there, and that'll help you drill down to what you're looking for. So marketing candidate searches, WordPress blogs example, site, wordpress.com, marketing blogs, social media. I just did a simple search on this one, but you can see what this pulled up. It pulled up quite a few folks with their backgrounds from a wide variety of backgrounds that were focused on marketing, blogging, etc., and PR type stuff. So social media content specifically, and their WordPress is great for pulling in marketing people, but many times you'll find their portfolio or their resume, even with this simple string, about me, portfolio, resume, and it'll pull up quite a bit of information about these marketing candidates. So professional association searches, if you drill down with the DOL Professional Association Finder, it's a great tool that helps you find a wide variety of different types of people. Simple search, locate your professional association. I found the American Finance Association, so I used that, used with the site Boolean command, and then there's the string right there: speaker, author, attendees, list, conference speakers, bio, file type, the type of files I wanted to find, and then it pulls up a wide variety of different types of people from that. So this is just the results that I found to show you what that looks like. And each of these, as you look at them, you can see that you can see the speakers, the type of person they are, and then these are all experts in their field. So it's certainly a very interesting way to find people. This was their asset pricing portfolio choice event. Specifically, it looks like there were several types of folks here, but you could click through all of these and see that there was quite a few people at this conference. They had a wide variety of topics, and then you can see who the speakers were for those particular topics. So that's another useful way to find information, and many times they'll even click to their bio, which may bring up a resume or their LinkedIn profile. So just an example of how that looks. Now, with diversity searches, there's many ways to do a lot of things with these. One thing I've found that's very helpful is finding the spots where these are. So I collected a list of different types of organizations and where they are, list of historically Black colleges, a very comprehensive list of diversity-focused associations across multiple cultural, societal, and ethnic arenas, veterans associations, the one-stop DOL Association Finder, national cultural and ethnic national fraternities and association list, the Veterans Professional Associations and the Veterans Association benefits organizations that list further resources for veterans. So these can all be adapted for your use. Again, they were mainly for their communities to find information. But the one-stop DOL Association Finder is a very powerful tool that can be utilized to drill down and find what you're looking for. Using Bing example for searching LinkedIn, here's just an example of a very simple search run on Bing. And you can see the mechanics are very similar to how that looks on Google. I'm going to turn off this alarm. The phone decided to wake up here. Anyway, give me 1 second. So silly. All right, so back to this. So the Bing, you can see the Bing example here and what this looks like. Just a simple string. It drilled down to these specific results here. And again, it's a nice way. You don't have to have LinkedIn Recruiter to do this. Although LinkedIn Recruiter is a helpful tool, it just costs a lot of money. So if you're in a situation where you don't have that, even with your network, whatever it may be, you can drill down and find results. You can do the same thing on Google as well. Now, Medium. Here's another interesting idea. I just tried a simple search string for programmer bloggers in artificial intelligence. Just a quick example. So site medium.com. in the bracket, I have software developer or programmer. I could have added engineer in here if I wanted. Java, Python, artificial intelligence. So simple string again, but you can see that it pulls up quite a few people that are blogging about AI. So this could be a place to help you find some subject matter experts in artificial intelligence that are blogging, because Medium is a very popular tool for software engineers to use. So just pretty cool. That's a great way to find these folks as well. Let me keep going. So using ChatGPT for sourcing and recruiting, developed by OpenAI, ChatGPT is a helpful resource for recruiting and sourcing. The key is the prompts you use. Here are a few sample ideas. And I'll give a call out to Mike Wolford, who is a guru in this space. He actually created quite a few prompts with his book. So I would definitely encourage you to check that out. It's a really great resource that he has come up with that I think he did a great job with. So here's a few sample ideas for prompts. So how you can use it for sourcing. It's going to help with building strings. So ChatGPT can help you. Can you please? So this is the prompt. ChatGPT, can you please help me with a Boolean search string for a diversity search to find Latinos and Ruby on Rails programming skills? This is what it came up with. So it came up with these specific examples, and you can see I asked it to refine. Please help me find resumes by refining this string, and then it added even more information that you can use to drill down further. So resume or CV or curriculum vitae. Now, if you wanted to revise this, you could take out the and squish those together, put a space between them. You'd keep the same brackets. Where it says or, you'd put a pipe symbol instead of the or, and you'd shorten the and to a space, and that would make your string short. So that's a way to do that. Now, ChatGPT had more advice. To refine the Boolean string for finding resumes specifically, you can include terms that are commonly found in resumes. So this was additional information that it had, and it also broke it out for me. It had a very organized approach. Now, I think I like this. What's nice about this is if you're explaining it to people, ChatGPT is actually really good at explaining it. You can see that I put my stuff in my slides and then I just go. But what I like about this is it breaks it out for you as well. It puts the demographic terms to find Latinos. It puts the skills terms to find Ruby on Rails programmers. It puts job titles for you in a bracket, terms commonly found in resumes. So again, it's really good at helping you filter. And it's nice from that perspective because that has the ability to do a lot of cool things. So strings from ChatGPT that were further below, here's what it came up with. So these are it's pretty cool. It shows some for Google specifically, shows some for LinkedIn. It shows some for Indeed. So depending on the channel you're using, whether it's just Indeed or LinkedIn or Google, it'll help you put those together so you can help organize those. If you're not a guru, you can use these tools to help you drill down and do it better. So can help you with a job description also. I asked it to help me write a job description within 150 words or less, and this is what it came up with. Now, keep in mind, see where it says your company location or remote? You're going to have to make sure that you update that. And you might want to make sure that you update your company information. Maybe you fix that a little bit. So again, it's a good tool for getting templates, helping you build results that are unique, and it will help you do steps that you want to do that help you be more effective and productive. So that's why it's so useful. Next, here's some other things just to keep in mind from a guideline standpoint. The quality of the prompt determines the outcome. You may need to refine its search strings. You can utilize for messaging, reach out ideas, job description writing, some strategy recommendations, just simple things like that. Use ChatGPT to help prep interview questions, screening steps, some strategy and personalization. Again, best practice. You want to be checking what it does as results. Don't take everything it does. because it may need some refining. So it's very important. It's not going to give you you can't just rely on it to do everything, but it's great for idea generation. It's great for template writing, and it may be good for other things that it does, as long as again, the quality of the prompt is going to determine what you get. So just keep that all in mind as you're working with ChatGPT as a tool. Now, tools, most comprehensive list we have to give credit where it's due, which is Dean DaCosta is definitely the guru when it comes to tools itself. He is the man when it comes to that. And he is one of the most, is almost like an encyclopedia of tools. And he's created this amazing resource. He's also come up with his own paid tool that can help you utilize the contact information tools, which he puts in all one thing on his website. It's called the Search Links. I would definitely recommend that to you. So take a look at that. It could be a really good, useful resource for you as well. Now, great list for sourcing and recruiting tools, boolianstrings.com. This one comes courtesy of Irina Shemeva, and she has a list of tools that she's listed as well. That's a great site to kind of keep in mind besides Dean's. Here's some of my favorite Chrome extensions. I've got quite a list here, but all of these have been really helpful to me. Kendo Sourcing Ninja, I definitely love. Lucia, Grammarly. Grammarly is great for putting together spelling, making sure you're on the right track when you're putting together a reach out. Calendly is great for scheduling. You cut down on the back and forth. There's other ones out there as well, other tools that you could use for the same purpose. But Calendly is a good kind of general starter one if you don't have one built into your ATS, like some organizations do. There's Discoverly, Hunter.io, Full Contact, Yesware, Contact Out, Limitless, Interseller, Clearbit Connect, Instant Data Scraper is great for pulling in large data sets. HeadReach, RecruiterBot. So here's some other ones. Contact Info Finders in addition to my Chrome extensions. These are all great tools that can help you drill down to find great information on contact information. Maybe you have one piece of a lead and you need more, and this can help you drill down and find what you're looking for, that kind of thing. So all of these are really great tools from that perspective. Juicebox People GPT, really up and coming tool. It's definitely one that's interesting, and I think it's going somewhere. So this is a tool that can definitely help you source, and it looks like it's on the up and up. So it's got some really good potential with it. I see it being a tool that's definitely going to make waves in the future for sure. Recruitum. These are some Boolean helpers. Recruitum helps you write strings. It'll help you drill down by country, job title. You know, once you put in the information in these little boxes, it'll help you generate a string, which is really nice. There's Hire Easy. They've got their own little Boolean builder. It's really cool, and it can help you do some tricks of the trade and put that together. So got some really great tools from that perspective. Definitely a really high up and coming tool that I think is going to be there quite a while. They've recently come out with a CRM system, so I got to give them a shout out on that. It's got some good potential ahead of it as well. So as I'm getting to the end of my thoughts here in my presentation, I want to show you a few more Boolean builders. There's Linked Prospect. This is a nice one. You just type in some tools, the keywords you're looking for, and it'll help you refine your search and drill down as well. So it's got some really good potential to help you write these Boolean strings if you get stuck. Sebastian Quadros came out with a really good tool. He's got his Recruiter Boolean builder. I would definitely recommend that. It helps write strings and does a really good job of that as well. It's actually built into ChatGPT, which is pretty cool. And then there's Balaxas Parazai, who came up with a online Google Sheet. If you plug in the various string parts that you need, the different keywords, it'll help put together a Boolean string for you. It's actually really cool from that perspective. So get some really interesting ways that it can help you. Then there's also Sourcing Training, has their own tool. I would recommend you check them out. It's another really good, amazing tool. You type in the keywords delineated by a comma, and then it spits out a nice string for you also. SourcingLab.io, another great tool. This one is going to help you build a Boolean string as well. It can even help you with the various mediums. It's got links to various tool sets that could be a really useful tool for you. So I would definitely check that out. It's really kind of another interesting tool, SourcingLab.io. Here's the sources to follow for tools. Dean DaCosta website shared earlier. Jonathan Kidder, here's his website. Greg Hawkes, Irina Shemeva, Glenn Cathy, Mark Tortorisi, and Jim Shroud. And Jim Shroud is the editor of SourceCon. That's why I recommend sourcecon.com. So I'm at the end now, but just a few thoughts on this presentation. Earlier, I tried to record this and it wasn't necessarily working the way I thought it would, but we have redeemed ourselves. I actually went shorter this time. I did this in a record 45 minutes. So hopefully this is helpful for you. I will put this recording in my featured share today on LinkedIn and other sites. This went to all my social channels today. I appreciate you watching. I hope this is helpful. And we're going to have more content like this every Thursday live. So we'll see how it plays out and who joins us. But until then, until next time on Where's Your Next, Mike out. Peace.